Our entire family got infected with the coronavirus. My mother, who was 75 years old, did test positive a couple of days after I did. She went to a routine doctor's appointment, and from there she was taken via ambulance into the hospital. And that was the last day we got to see her. I don't want any other family to have to go through that. I don't want any other family to have a virtual viewing. I don't want another family to not be able to say goodbye. It's scary to know that the United States is such a powerful force and we are literally last in handling human life.
I can only say that we're doing more than anybody in the world by far.
The reason we are how bad we are is because the person who's the occupant of the White House decided to play an ego trip on the US, and people are dying daily because of that.
Here's the bad part. When you do testing to that extent, you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So I said to my people, slow the testing down, please.
What would you have done differently facing this crisis?
Well, nothing. I don't take responsibility at all.
The systemic disparities are very apparent in this pandemic. As we know, Black and Brown communities are usually at the front line of all of this. Then when we talk about the pandemic in a prison, well, we also know that the disproportionate amount of Black and Brown folks are incarcerated. My parents were Cuban refugees, and I was always taught that your voice is super important, and that's why they made their journey to America. A big part of my upbringing and what was instilled in me was this is a place where you can use your voice. Like, you won't get hurt for using your voice. And that was just such a long-standing lesson. So my mom was very vocal. There was never anything that she couldn't get done. She was definitely a firecracker and willing to jump in, and she was a staple at all our rallies. One of my favorite pictures of her is kind of holding my bullhorn and she's just yelling at someone. So she was definitely engaged and always encouraged others to be engaged. And that was, I think, just a long-standing impact. I'm definitely carrying that on, and I think she inspired folks to do the same. We would always go vote together, and it was just like, this is what this is about. This is freedom, and you have to fight for it because it could easily be destroyed. And juxtaposition to what's happening now, I think that's one of the biggest motivators, is that we're literally seeing what hundreds of thousands of immigrants have fought and died for to be here, and what Americans died for to secure these rights are vanishing. And that's tragic and devastating. We can't just stand by and let that happen. I found MoveOn in the mid-90s with some petitions, and just kind of was attached ever since. It was always a way to be active, even if it wasn't locally. More recently, we had been focused on the elections, training folks on canvassing, getting information out about why it's important to vote, asking people their stories about why voting is important, helping folks just in every aspect of organizing, how to tell your story, how to just learn where to get information, and just getting people excited again, to kind of get rid of that hopelessness that could kind of sink in at times when you feel like you don't have any power. What makes me hopeful is that we have seen such a change in what a lot of us were used to, what democracy looks like, what it needs to look like. That light has been shined, really focusing on, we could really do this. We could take this back. Our voice is so powerful that why would they work this hard to silence us? So we have power. And that's my message to everyone I talk to. No matter how you can participate, you doing one thing different to help us get a better tomorrow is going to be how we're going to win this.